make mistakes, but might fall on your face. Hey guys, I'm just here. I hope you guys are okay. I told you guys about this song yesterday, and that's how I feel. Good morning, come on in. I'm just hopping on early as I promised. Again, I just wanted to come on, hop on quickly to tell you guys that it's gonna be okay. We will survive, and let you guys know to just stay in good spirits. And we just gonna vibe out this morning because I know y'all are down. I know I got a few phone calls from my girlfriends. I got a few phone calls from my mama, my brother, my husband don't want to talk about it. Everybody tense, and I'm not. And I think I'm not tense because I called it. I kind of had a feeling. That's why I created a more bipartisan page so that I wouldn't get caught up in the Trump or the Kamala or of it all. And I wanted us to be a page, a unity. This is a landing strip of safety, of community. So if you love Trump, you are welcome. If you love Kamala and you are disappointed, you are welcomed here. This is just tell me how you feel. You know, this is not one of them places where you have to feel like I'm in the wrong space. This is an American space. I'm a bipartisan page, and that's why I created it this way. Because if I'm being honest, you guys watched my first live, I kind of had a feeling that Trump was going to win with Joe Biden. I was like, I'm not voting for no damn Joe Biden. So the fact that Kamala came in, of course, she was like a breath of fresh air. And I think we all were really excited about where she could have been. But at the end of the day, we are where we are. And I think we are exactly where we deserve to be. I really, truly believe that. And I feel like these are the conversations we need to have. This is a time for America to talk and discuss about who we are, and what we will become. And I think it's going to be a more positive than negative thing. So that's why when I created this page, I kept saying this is a bipartisan page, because I already had a feeling. And I told you, if you guys go watch my first video, I said I project the trajectory of the world. When in 2016, everybody thought Trump would lose, I thought he would win, and did, right? So that's kind of how I approached it. All right, then, bye. I'll block you. That's what you want. That's what you said. You know, the words have power. You say bye, you got to go bye-bye. So, you know, at the end of the day, I'm not surprised at the results. I stayed up for the whole thing, and you guys know I've been on this page for about, I would say about 2 months now, 2-3 months. And I created this specifically to just for this moment, so that I can kind of be a place of peace for you guys and just bring some relief, some comic relief to you guys. Like we were talking about it today with some of my, I don't want to call them my friends, but associates. And some of them were from Michigan and Ohio. And they were like, oh my God, like Michigan let me down, Ohio let me down. And they were like, they already know the type of people they grew up with. So they weren't surprised either. My dad, I told you, he is in Florida. So half my time was from Jersey, which is super pure Democrat. We had Republicans like Chris Christie. But we mostly are like Democrats as of late. But when I was growing up, Jersey was the Republican state. And so growing up black in a Republican state, and then my dad being in Florida, half the time I was in Florida, so that's another Republican state. So I kind of grew up around this temperament, and I know how to temper it and not get lost in it. Because at the end of the day, we, you know, in the club, we all family. So let's jump into it. I ain't jumping into it. I usually write like notes and flesh out. I talk shit about Kamala, I talk shit about Trump, and we usually hash that out. We're not going to do that today. We're just going to talk about some of the positives that I think could come from this if we don't like get caught up in all the semantics of it. Oh, and I wanted to play some music. And I don't think I'm going to monetize this at all. So we're going to have a good time. We're just going to jazz out, listen to some music. I thought the first song that would be ironic is American Boy for Trump. So I want to vibe out to this. Can y'all hear it? Or should I put it on my iPad? I'll put it on my iPad, maybe. Y'all can hear it? I don't know. But I'm just going to chill out, watch this listen to this song real quick. Y'all remember this song? This is the first song I thought about this morning. I wish I could do a background. Ain't lying wild people today. Would I have to do if I didn't do a background, would I have to do that beforehand? Hey, take me to New York, I want to see LA. I really kick it with you. You be my American boy, American. Hey sister, it's really, really nice to meet ya. So yeah, y'all, don't get to the funny part. Me and my brother were talking about this. We got a convicted felon. So they better take them questions off the questionnaire for all the black men. I don't want to hear it. All the black men, white men, any convicted felons out there, y'all should be getting a job. I don't want to hear nothing about convicted felons are not qualified for the job, because how about that? So I'm excited for that aspect of it. When you think about, you got to weigh the positives. Like we're here, we're in it. Just like with, I don't want to say slavery, but like just like even in 1960, like the Voting Rights Act, they had to live through that just less than 70 years ago. So they lived through it. They lived through Reagan. We can live through Trump. It's really not going to affect us in that kind of way, because in 2016, the reason I think people, because I was trying to think about it, like why did people vote for Trump? What happened there? Why did white people vote for Trump? Because we didn't vote for their ass. Black men kind of. Let me see how much they voted. I didn't look it up. I can ask AI, right? Let's see. Let's ask AI. Okay, let's see what y'all say. Hi AI. I'm gonna see if I could put. I used to do little voices on it because AI is so advanced now. You could do like, listen, it's gonna be fun. Good morning, AI.
Good morning. Good morning. What's on your mind today?
Can you do Kamala's voice?
I can't imitate voices of...
Oh, no public figures. Okay. Can you do how can I describe her? Can you do I'll just do mine. Can you do a Jersey girl that's black voice?
Oh, absolutely. How's this?
Can you
What's up, hon? Ready to dive into some Jersey girl vibes today?
That's a white Jersey girl. Can you do like a urban Jersey girl?
Got it. Let me switch it up for you. Hey, what's good? Let's bring that black Jersey girl energy into this combo.
Okay, can you tell me what is the percentage of black men that voted for Trump versus Kamala?
I might not have the latest updates. For the most complete and up-to-date information about the U.S. election, please visit news sources.
Okay, so they're not giving it to us yet. AI, that means Elon got the numbers still. Okay, so we're going to have to Google that one. So let me see. Percentage of black men. That's why Google will always be superior, for now at least. Percentage of black men who voted for Trump versus... Oh, yeah. Versus Kamala. What does Google say? Okay, so yeah, men got exactly what they want. How black vote turnout impacted Kamala Harris. Let's see. This is Newsweek. So let's see if they have numbers or they just still talking generalities. Okay. She still won the black vote, y'all. But she did. But you on your own. You only 12% of that. 86% of black voters voted for Kamala Harris. So it ain't us. It wasn't us. It wasn't me. They called me on camera. It wasn't us. So we didn't do it. It was literally white people. So it was, and white people meaning Hispanic whites too, because like J-Lo is like a Hispanic, a white Hispanic. This is how I define it in my head. And then you got Rosie Perez, who's like a Spanish, like a original 90s Latino. Like those the classic ones that we grew up with. But then the new ones like J-Lo, they are turning white. And I know because I went to school with them. I'm married. I need my husband. I'm sorry to those girls who don't need their man. But I love my man. My man. I've been married for 11 years, baby. She only endorsed Harris after the Puerto Rico thing in the garbage. She had to. She was forced. They took about it. Let me tell you, I have a theory. My mama told me not to tell y'all, but I'm gonna tell y'all. So I had a theory that the reason the break between Ben Affleck and J-Lo happened in the first place is because I felt like Ben Affleck was going towards Trump, and J-Lo could not go towards Trump because she has a transgender daughter. That's the bottom line. It's your children. What do you want best? And then I think at the end, Jennifer Garner was pissed at J-Lo because she's like, if you notice, Jennifer Garner's daughter is now transitioning a little bit. Like, they can still catch her, bring her back, but she's almost teetering that edge. And I think she wanted to get J-Lo daughter away from her daughter. Jennifer Garner wanted to get J-Lo's daughter away from her daughter. And I think Ben Affleck had to decide if I want to be in love as a man or do I want to stand up for my child as a father. So I think he chose Jennifer Garner and his daughter so that J-Lo wouldn't turn his daughter into a transgender. My mama told me not to tell y'all that. But that's my theory. So I feel like he broke it off because that was the big issue. So that's why he broke it off with her. Then he started low-key dating or spread the rumors that he was dating RFK's daughter. And RFK's daughter was what? Aligned with who? Trump. And I think because of that break, that is what separated J-Lo and Beyonce. Ain't it? Period. Okay? So I think that's kind of what that is. But yeah, it ain't us. It wasn't us. Even you, black man who voted, it wasn't you. Because you only voted for Trump at 12%. But black people in general, we voted for Kamala at 86%. And it says Biden won black vote by 92%. And just 8% back Trump. So 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 4% increase this time for Trump. So it really didn't. You guys didn't underperform. All of it's brainwashing, baby. We brainwashed on both sides. We are. Oh, yes. Am I sure? Oh, that's you. We are. Not me seeing y'all face right here, right? Because you know the little circles are here. And I'm like, who's behind my back? That was just Michael's face. But yeah, no. So at the end of the day, it is what it is. Like, we did what we were supposed to do. And I'm from Jersey. Jersey did what they were supposed to do. But I ain't mad at it. Like I said, let's go back to the positive. The negative. Let's focus on the positive. Because I didn't give a damn who won. But I knew we was going to have fun regardless. So let's see if we can ask AI another question regarding the election. Because they're kind of hating on election talk. Any questions you guys want to know? Let's see. Okay, I'll ask. I don't know if they're going to give me this either. Hi, AI.
I don't have the exact figures on hand for how black men voted for Trump versus Kamala Harris in the most recent election. The voting patterns can vary significantly, and it's best to look at detailed exit polls from reputable sources for that kind of information.
I looked already. So it says that black men voted at 12% for Trump, and they voted for Kamala at approximately 86%. So with that, hold on, it cut me off.
No worries.
You still hear me, AI?
Loud and clear.
All right.
What's up?
Okay, so based on that, so I already looked up the numbers. It says black men voted at 12% for Trump, and Kamala, they voted for her at 86% for Kamala this term. But that's not my question. My question is, what policies does Trump have in place for black and brown people?
Under the Trump administration, several policies were highlighted as beneficial for black and brown communities. These include the First Step Act, which aimed to reform the criminal justice system and reduce recidivism, opportunity zones, intended to spur economic development and job creation in distressed communities, and increased funding for historically black colleges and universities. The effectiveness and impact of these policies are often debated.
Okay, has Trump...
It seems like your question got cut off.
I'm sorry.
Okay,
has Trump in his last term, what were some direct impacts that he made for black men, specifically black men only?
During his term, some of the impacts Trump's administration... No worries. I was mentioning the First Step Act, which aimed at criminal justice reform, potentially affecting many black men. Additionally, there was support for opportunity zones to boost economic growth in distressed areas, and increased funding for HBCUs, which could indirectly benefit Black men pursuing higher education.
And what about Latino men? What have he specifically done for Latino men, and what does he plan to do for Latino men in the future? And also, you got to go back to your black girl Jersey accent.
Got it. Switching back to that Black Jersey vibe. So, for Latino men, the Trump administration emphasized job creation and economic growth through tax cuts and deregulation, which were intended to benefit all Americans, including Latino men. The administration also focused on vocational training and apprenticeship programs. For future plans, you'd need to check the latest statements or campaign plans. Thanks. Anything else you want to dive into?
Why didn't Kamala do her speech last night?
I actually don't have access to real-time information.
I'm just joking. Okay, what can we expect the benefits for white men in America to get from Donald Trump?
For white men in America, the Trump administration often emphasized broad economic policies aimed at boosting the overall economy, such as tax cuts and deregulation. The idea was that these measures would lead to job creation, higher wages, and a stronger stock market, which could benefit many Americans.
Hold on, that's not a black Jersey accent. That's a white Jersey accent. I said put a little stank on that thing. Put a little black girl on it.
My bad. Let me get back into it. So, for white men, Trump's administration was all about boosting the economy through tax cuts, deregulation, and growing jobs. The goal was to lift all boats, so to speak, by strengthening the economy overall. How's that?
That's pretty good, but when you said deregulation, can you talk a little bit more about what deregulation means for us?
Sure thing. Deregulation is basically when the government reduces or eliminates rules and regulations that businesses have to follow. The idea is that by cutting red tape, businesses can operate more freely, leading to increased efficiency, lower costs, and, hopefully, more jobs and economic growth. However, it can be controversial, as less regulation can also lead to concerns about safety, environmental protection, and fair practices.
Okay, so the only other president that I know, what was his name? Was Cleveland or something? Grover Cleveland, I believe his name was, who won 2 terms like Donald Trump did. Is this the worst loss in American history? Trump and Kamala?
Actually, Grover Cleveland is known for being the only president to serve 2 non-consecutive terms. Regarding Trump's loss, it was notable, but whether it's the worst in history can depend on how you measure it. In terms of the popular vote or electoral margin, there have been other significant losses in U.S. history. Every election has its unique circumstances, making comparisons a bit tricky.
Can you name what Donald Trump will be known for, his legacy?
Donald Trump's legacy will likely be remembered for several key aspects. His unconventional approach to the presidency.
Sorry, go ahead.
All right, so Trump's legacy, right? He'll be known for his unconventional style. The big tax overhaul in 2017, appointing 3 Supreme Court justices, his America First foreign policy, and handling of the COVID-19 pandemic. People have strong opinions on both sides about his impact.
What will Joe Biden's legacy be?
Biden's legacy is still in the making, but some key elements are likely to include his response to the COVID-19 pandemic, including vaccine rollouts, his focus on economic recovery through large spending packages, and his emphasis on climate change initiatives. His work on healthcare, infrastructure, and efforts to address racial inequality will also shape how his presidency is remembered.
So, okay.
Anything else you want to chat about?
It says Joe Biden ain't do nothing. Child. Y'all, anything y'all want to ask AI while we on him?
I'm here and ready for anything you want to ask. What's on your mind?
All right, AI, calm down. But cool it. Relax.
Got it. Keeping it cool. What's next?
Nothing right now. I'll come back to you. So she lit. Okay, so also, this is my dear. Me and my brother was talking about this too. The whole idea that my brother said the economy is gonna improve. Hands down, he's a black man, so he was like, hands down, the economy is gonna improve. But it's gonna not be in a way we think it is. It's gonna be in a way of, like, obviously businesses feel more confident because they will have those deregulations that AI just was talking about. And because of that, they'll be making more money, which means they'll be able to give more money. I know my last job, we had something called ESOP, which is essentially in $1,200 checks. So ESOPs are essentially stock markets. So your company invests in a stock, and then based on that, you get a portion of that stock. So I remember when Trump was in office versus when Biden got in office, my stock dropped for my company. So basically, I went from like $10,000 in a stock to like $7,000 in the stock, babes. So I think in that way, the markets will be stronger because the corporations will be more aligned with them. And then yesterday evening around 2, 3, something like that, corporations refuse to endorse Kamala. So that was the red flag, because usually at the end you get an endorsement from Google, Exxon, and those kind of companies. It was like mum's the word. Ford Motor Company, they didn't endorse either party. So that was a big red flag. And then MSNBC was starting to report that big corp were not doing endorsements for Kamala. So I kind of had an idea that she wasn't gonna win. But did I have hope? Hope Dream Obama. I was gonna wear that hat today, but I was like, I'm not gonna add salt to the wound. Okay, so downside of Kamala, the downside of not having Kamala, we could talk about that a little bit. In my opinion, you guys can let me know what you feel too. I think it's the fact that women's rights, that abortion thing, the fact that the power is going back to the states. I think it should be a federal law. I think it should be a human right. I think it should be a constitutional law that women have the right to their own autonomy, their own bodies. I would never not believe that. And so right now, and we can ask AI that, but right now, my hope, Dream Obama, but they agreed with me before. So it's not about the Supreme Court. It's just about the people in power. And Trump is going to be able to appoint, I believe, 2 more Supreme Court justices, and he's already appointed 2. So it's going to be a Republican Supreme Court, and it's going to be very similar to Handmaid's Tale, which is the Gilead. And in that show, they talk about ownership over women's reproductive rights. It is completely controlled by the men, and most white women in that show support the men in power for them to have autonomy. And because the white women that end up making it to the top in that show can't bear children, so they end up taking the children of lower income black people, lower income white girls, and if you're able to have a baby, they take the baby and then they raise the baby as their own because they're able to give the baby a better life. And it's just a crazy show. It's called Handmaid's Tale, and that's kind of what this feels like. It feels like the beginning of that. And it's interesting, too, because they have this company called a Gilead. And, the Gilead, the real Gilead is a corporation that's in relation to Trump. So it's just really art imitating life, that show. So if you haven't watched that show, Handmaid's Tale, I suggest you go watch it. And they ruled that Supreme Court got it wrong in 1973. But then shut up. Because in 2073, they can rule that they got it wrong in 2024. It's just a law. It's just human nature. It's just what's popular now. Take it easy, kiddo. You getting too emotional about this. So we having fun over here. Don't bring all that negativity into this chat. So, all right. So now let's go back. Let's ask AI. Actually, we can ask AI here. What would you say about the abortion rights? If they let me, because honestly, all right, here you go. I'm not paying for this thing. This is the free app, so they might kick me off soon. They might say I reached my limit. Okay, so let's ask about so AI. Do you hear
Yeah.
me? Okay, can you tell me a little bit about the abortion ban in the states, and how that will affect the states versus the federal government, and how that may impact women? And do it in your Jersey black girl voice now. Don't play with me.
All right, let's break it down. When states pass abortion bans, it can create a patchwork of laws across the country. States with strict bans might make it almost impossible for women to access abortion services, pushing them to
I'm Jersey.
travel
You
to...
must say ask. Don't judge me. Judge your mama. All right, back. Sorry, AI. Go ahead.
Gotcha. So, when states pass abortion bans, it creates a whole mess of different laws across the country. Women in states with strict bans might have to travel out of state to get an abortion where it's still legal. It can hit low-income women the hardest, making it... Yeah, it's a lot to take in. Got any other questions or need more info on this?
Yeah, so you said it will make women have to go to different states to get medical care, but what does it do for the doctors that are in those states still providing that sort of care?
Good question. For doctors in states with strict abortion bans, it can be really tough. They might face legal risks, like fines or even losing their medical licenses. This can make it hard for them to provide care without fear of prosecution. Some might even stop offering these services altogether to avoid legal trouble. It puts a lot of pressure on healthcare providers.
Thank you, AI. I think we got the gist.
You're welcome. If you have any more questions later on, just let me know.
Okay. So yeah, it's what we understand, I think, completely. At the end of the day, the states will now be in the decision maker. I think, let me be honest, even Trump didn't win. What I think, a lot of y'all didn't get hugs by your mama when you was younger. I really feel like that. I got hugged by my mom. I'm very loved. Okay, so Joe Rogan, I said to myself, so Joe Rogan, what time he came in yesterday? About 2:30, 3 o'clock p.m. yesterday? I said to myself, you know what? Trump gonna win this thing. Because Joe Rogan is like the #1 podcast in the whole world. So when I saw that he gave his endorsement, I said, oh, game over, game over, game over, baby. So I already knew at the end of the day that... How you block? Oh, that's nice. That made it very easy to block people. But I didn't block the other one. Hold on, let me go back. And I don't usually even block people, but this is getting creepy, a little weird. So now Joe Rogan, when he endorsed him, I said, okay, but then if you guys watch the Joe Rogan podcast like I did, what I noticed about the Joe Rogan podcast, they were talking about the trans thing a lot. And like I said, okay, this is how they're going to hone it in for... I said, for all those who did not vote all those who voted for Trump, you will get what you deserve. Yeah, they're going to get the country they deserve. And we just going to sit here. Joy come in the morning. Troubles, they won't last always. For there's a friend in Jesus who will wipe your tears away. And if your heart is broken, just lift your hands and say, Lord. Y'all know that song. I love that song. Okay, let me see who else I got blocked. Because y'all coming in. It's interesting because I've been on live forever. I never had negativity on my live. We be loving each other over here. Oh, what's that about? You see that? This is what I noticed about Sky News Australia yesterday. As I'm watching it, I'm like, you guys won. But then they kept saying stuff like this on the thing. It was like they were talking about how the lady said, how do you feel for black women when this is kind of like something that they look forward to their whole life and they didn't get it? And the white man said, who cares about them? He said, we care about us. This is Australian guy now. He's like, I'm not gonna say exactly what I want to say. He's like, but who cares about black women, kind of thing. And I think it's so interesting to me because it reminds me of Sojourner Truth when she said, oh hell no, y'all not gonna get the right to vote and leave us. We helped y'all get the right to vote. Now it's y'all turn to help us get the right to vote. And the white woman said, skirt, who? Susan B. Anthony said, who gonna help you, Sojourner Truth? So Sojourner Truth wrote a poem. Ain't it called Ain't I a Woman? I don't want to lie. I don't want to say Ain't I a Woman. I think it is. Ain't I a Woman? Sojourner is it? Yep. I eat my rice and cabbage. I know my history. I used to learn in school. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? The fact that I remember that. Okay, let me read y'all the poem. So this poem is created by Sojourner Truth. When she was upset with Susan B. Anthony, they were like, hey, Callie, good morning. I had to hop on here to kind of, I know the people upset about not having Cam, but I kind of told people I knew it could have been a possibility. That's why I wanted to create more like a bipartisan page of peace and love and chicken grease so that this day, when it did come, you still can come here and feel love and get that hug your mama never gave them, because some of them is so negative in the comments, and I'm just going to be the little warm hug your mama never gave you. So that's why I created this page. And so good morning, Callie. I know I don't usually come this early, but I just had to hop on. So all right, so let me read this poem to y'all. Yo, it's called Ain't I a Woman by Sojourner Truth. And the reason she created it because she was so mad at Susan B. Anthony, because they was like besties. You know, we all deal with this in corporate America, especially as black women being the only one in the office. I've been there. You've been there. We've been there. Come on. So when she was like riding for Susan B. Anthony, like crazy, going town to town, and Susan B. Anthony was showing her off like, look, I got this smart Negro woman who can vote. And the reason she used her is because the black man in America, listen to this, get into this. The black man in America got the right to vote before the white women, y'all. And them white women lost their mother freaking minds. Okay, and this is like the 1850s. Pissed. Could not stand. So Susan B. Anthony said, oh, hell no. We're going to fight this. And they said, we're going to fight it with black women and white women together. And then, you know what white men said? White men said, baby, calm down. We got you. Y'all can vote. It's just them little black niggas. Women can't vote, but you can vote. So that created a divide between Sojourner Truth and Susan B. Anthony. And Susan B. Anthony, like, after all I did, going town to town with my beautiful speeches, she was like the Maya Angelou of her day. Like, she had bars. Like, she was like the Michelle Obama. Like, everything she said was pure gold. Sojourner Truth had the fire. And Susan B. Anthony utilized that to get the white woman to vote. And it pissed Sojourner Truth off. So then she came and did this big monumental speech in front of millions of women. And she said, ain't I a woman too? And this is the poem. So it goes, let me go here. Ain't I a woman? I have plowed and reaped and husked and chopped and mowed and can any man do more than that? Because ain't I a woman too? And this is what we as black women have been facing since the beginning of time. This speech was given in 1851. It is 2024, and we still asking, ain't I a woman too? Well, that's January 6th. That's not Kamala's job. Y'all mixing up because of the whole Kamala took over thing. Joe Biden is not like that. Didn't y'all see Joe Biden? Let me show y'all this video. I didn't post it, but I was cracking up. I recorded this video like a week ago. It was Joe Biden. Y'all might have already seen it. Hold on. It was, I don't know where it's at, but it was Joe Biden putting on a Trump hat. He been acting a fool. Joe Biden been doing whatever he want to do. Joe Biden said the world Americans is garbage so that Kamala couldn't win. Joe Biden have low-key been sabotaging Kamala since the day she left him in a nursing home. I'm going to see if I can find it. I can't find it on here. I know it's on this phone, but it's not on my iPad. But yeah, no, he's literally trading hats with a Trumper, and the Trump guy say put on this hat, and he put on the damn Trump hat. And then a week, 2 later, he's talking about. And then look at this one. Hold on. Did I have that video? This is about black people in the 60s. My mom was SNCC, y'all. This is why I feel very passionate about this. So, did I show y'all this video?
Destiny had been taken away from them.
Hold on.
Go out in the community.
Can y'all hear?
Doors, talk to people. Registered and voted. They could elect the sheriff, and that the intimidation on the part of the sheriff's office and his deputies, they could change that. One of the things that I always tell them is that we could stop Mr. Charlie from lynching us. What we were doing was embedding ourselves in these communities. Immediately, what you found out you were dealing with was fear. They would say, "You're right, boy. We should be registered to vote. But I ain't going down there to mess with them white people." We did not get a large number of people to try and register to vote. And then within that small group of people who did try and register to vote, very few of them actually got registered to vote.
The registrar had total control over who was accepted and who wasn't. The voting form was one of the most complicated you would ever have.
People with PhD, master degrees, they couldn't pass. You had to be white.
In some counties, when people went in to register, why their names would appear in the newspaper the next day. That could have recriminations for all members of their family. It could mean they would lose their job. There were real consequences to taking this risk. It wasn't simply that you would go down and get turned away.
Okay, so that's what we're dealing with. We're dealing with the realities of our forefathers and everything they fought for. My mom was born in the 1950s, and she was a part of something called SNCC, which is what they're talking about here, which is when they were high schoolers, a lot of them. They went door to door, and they were trying to get people to vote, and to sign up for vote, not even to vote. And like I told you, Sojourner Truth and the black vote, that the black men's rights to vote, that happened in the 1800s. But the enforcement of the votes weren't followed through until well into the 1960s. So we weren't, even though we were allowed to vote, we were on the books, not black women, but black men and white women were allowed to vote, had the privilege to vote. We weren't allowed to vote until 1964 because they had to create laws of protection around the voting booth. So when they're talking about Georgia and burning of the voting, that's not fake. It's true. It's real. And a lot of the things that people are benefiting from, specifically first-generation migrants, first-generation black Americans, they're benefiting from the legacy of the ancestors who fought and were lynched for voting. You heard that. They said if you went as a black person in the 1960s to the voting booth, they would put your name in a newspaper, which means your whole family could be threatened. So I think for black American women, we remember the time, we know the time, and we don't want to go back to that time. So if Trump is who he say he is, this will reveal who he is, right? So if he says who he says he is, which is basically what he's been telling me from what I've been watching, is that he's going to be a uniter of the country, and he's going to bring America back, and not in relation to racism, but he's going to bring America back in terms of bringing us all together. So if that's true, he need to talk about it, not just, he need to be about it, not just talk about it. So that's why I asked AI earlier, okay, he said he's going to have things for black people, but how is he going to specifically do that? And it really just talked about him investing into HBCUs, decriminalizing and allowing a lot of black people to get out of jail, which I do remember during that time. I remember him letting a lot of black people out, but I do remember Obama being the first to do it. Because remember when Obama came in, he had the whole prison reform thing, and Donald Trump just took it. Obama made it a hot line. Trump made it a hot song. And another thing that I see right now in terms of classism, since we're on it, is the Hispanic vote. I personally, that's not a personal, I think a lot of us think, especially Black Americans, see this transition from being Hispanic to white. So there's a streamline that they have that Black Americans, obviously because of the color of our skin, or even Afro Latinos because of the color of their skin, cannot access. So that streamline from Hispanic to white is something that we really are going to have to look into, because I was in the Uber driver the other day, and the Hispanic guy, he told me he was voting for Trump because he felt like we don't know the terror that he faced in his country and what they have to deal with the Latinos in their country. So they came here to escape that. So they don't want to make it easy for them to get in here to be up under him, because they know what they're doing over there in that country. That's what the Uber driver told me. So he said, I'm voting for Trump because my mom came over here in the 1970s. She worked really hard. She was a illegal immigrant, and then she paid all his money and did all his paperwork and did all these tests to become a legalized immigrant here. So he said how he personally feels is, if you're gonna come here, and his mother didn't speak no English, he said how he feels, if you're gonna come here in this country, you need to do it the right way, the way his mother did it. And it's a lot of Latinos that think like that. And up here in the North, they just Latinos. Like you see J-Lo and all that, like y'all said, Rosie Perez, they don't never turn white really up here like that. But in Florida, if you go down south, like to Florida, and you see a Spanish girl, you call her Spanish, she be like, oh, I'm not Spanish, I'm white. Like they really on that down there in Florida. It's actually funny. And so with that, yeah, so my brother was talking last night. So he works, and where he works, he was saying it was like 20-30. So some of the Latinos were really, really, really downtrodden and sad. And some of them were like really happy and just really excited about the vote. So he was like, it was really good to see that, because I think from a universal perspective, we think that all Latinos are like just one way or one way. No, they have split ideologies too. They're just like us. Some of them is rocking with it, some of them is not. So at the end of the day, this is going to be interesting to see what happens with their demographic. Will they split off like Black Americans did? Will it become, if you're a white Latino, you'd here, but if you're a Black Latino, you're here? That's going to all be played out under this Trump administration. So we're going to see it all. It's going to be, I'm excited. I'm sorry. I like history. I like a little, and I just want to see what's going to happen. I just want to see what happens. Okay, I wrote Barron big ass, and and the reason I wrote that is because Barron was up there looking 6 foot tall. He's 7 feet tall. Y'all know that? That little boy's 7 feet tall. He's up next. So there's a whole ideology that I have. I said, if Trump did not become the king, he was going to become the kingmaker. That was always my theory. I knew it. And what I mean by that, my brother was like, what you mean by that? So I'll tell you. So what I mean by that is, I have an idea that if Trump did not win, he was going to have pseudo Democrats and pseudo Republicans. So I don't really believe there's a Republican Party anymore. I really do not. I believe there's Democrats and there's Trumpocrats, and that's it. And I feel like he was going to have people on both sides. I feel like he was going to have covert Democrats be his apprentice and then run as Democrats if he didn't win. I feel like he was going to have Republicans housed as Trumpocrats and run. And if they win, he was going to build them, because Trump loves to build things. He's an architect. That's his whole premise. He said he likes to gut things out, clean them up, and build them up. He said that's why he gets married so many times, because he said he loves taking plain Jane women and making them into these beautiful, magnificent superstars. He said, I create superstars. That's what I do. He said that's what he did with his wives, all his wives. He said, name one of his wives that's not a superstar. That's what he said. He said, so he likes to take things, gut them out, and make it beautiful. So that's what he wants to do with America. That's what he wants to do. I don't know. Beauty is in my eye of the beholder. So I don't know if I want a gold-plated America. But that's neither here nor there. We're going to figure it out. So, because we here now. And I'm from Jersey. So I feel like if any state know Trump, it's Jersey. Like, we know him better than y'all, because he was here first. So y'all can't tell me nothing about Trump. Okay, I know he's a jerk. Now, I understand why y'all voted for him, because he like y'all drunk uncle. And he do a lot of good. Especially when he give you a little, your drunk uncle give you a little cash in your hand and hold you like that and say, go ahead, girl. That's how Trump gonna do with us. He gonna give us a little something. Go ahead and go, and go do what he gotta do fucking over his wife and the whole country. But he gonna do right by you, hopefully. So we'll see. Okay, so I think another downturn, help me, is that in 4 years, we're going to have J.D. Vance as our president of the United States of America. It might be sooner if Donald Trump age out. And I like Donald a little bit. I like Donald. I don't dislike him. I already told y'all that. Y'all know I like Donald. I don't want him to be my president, but he is. And but I don't like J.D. I do not like J.D. Vance. I don't like him. I don't like he ain't real. Them lashes is real. Them is strips. Y'all want a president who got lash strips? Who got extensions? I don't want no president with lash extensions. I'm sorry. Anyway, but Trump likes him, and I get why Trump likes him, because he's moldable. So if you guys were here from the beginning on my podcast, my whatever we're calling this, you'll know that I talked about how fragile and a frumpy JD was, but over the time, as the years, you don't tell me what to focus on. You focus on your damn self. Confirm. So, have people come on your page telling you what to do. That's amazing to me. It's amazing. So, what I noticed with JD is in the beginning, he was very trying to be a person to people please. And then at the end, what started happening was he started, you know how they say iron sharpen iron? Somebody said, boy, you better get this together. You're messing up. Like I was watching, you guys, I've been watching this from the beginning. I'm not new to this. I'm true to this. I have a degree in political science and sociology. So I studied trajectories of the world my whole entire life. This is what I do for a living. I worked in international education where I did conflict resolution. And I taught students going abroad how to be transparent, not egotistical, and throw away that whole America first ideology when they go abroad, so they're not going over into another country being disrespectful to the patrons there. I taught people coming into America from abroad how to respect the traditions and the cultures of American culture. So I know America. I know what I know, And my daddy was a vet, so I know America. In the most racist town in America, Polk County, Florida. So this is not a fly-by-night kind of girl. I know what I'm talking about. I studied this. I'm not new to this. I am true to this. So y'all lucky to even have me. My presence is a present. Kiss my... And because I wasn't even doing no social media. I came on this because my friends and my family said, you need to be on social media. You got to do this. This is who you are. So that's the only reason I'm here. I'm not here for y'all. I'm here for the message. Okay. So now let's go back. So J.D. Vance, he's steadily improved over the years. If you notice, one thing about him, over the months, because when he first got out, he was doing stupid antics, like showing up at Kamala's plane. Trump was like, stop, cut this out. This is not what I'm about. Focus, business. Like, stop the antics. Talk. Man up. And he did. And that's what Trump talked about last night. I stayed up 2 o'clock in the morning watching this stuff because I love this stuff. Like, I do this. So Trump said last night in his speech, he goes, I knew I picked the right one, at least so far. Because, Trump don't play. What that show he had, Apprentice, you're fired. He will fire J.D. Vance like this, just like he did his first administration. He don't play. So when I saw him interview with some lady named, I want to say Nancy on MSNBC. It was like Nancy or something. And she was trying to go, she's pretty good at like combating somebody. She couldn't. Every single question, he was like, boom, 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 boom. And I can't stand J.D. Vance. But he was on it. He was like, boom, boom. And this is right after he called y'all cat ladies. This is right after he called y'all, what else he said? Oh, it was something else he said that was stupid. And Trump shut all that down. Stop calling them names. Stop picking on them. Focus on the policy. So he started doing that. He said, in the interview, I'll never forget, she tried to jump and get him in the corner. He said, okay, enough of this. He said, I want to talk about the policies. He said, let's bring it back to the policies. And it had her stuttering. And I said, ooh, we in trouble. Because I saw the growth in him. And I don't, especially when you're somebody you don't like and you see growth in him, you're like, damn it. But no, he grew a lot. In that, if you watch, you guys weren't here for my lives. Well, now I'm posting my current lives, which I wish I would have did in the beginning. I'm posting them on YouTube. So if you go in the link, you will see YouTube. And I actually probably do they have the ones when I'm talking about JD Vance, because the two that I were able to save, because TikTok will delete your lives after 1 month. So I wish I had an idea to post them to YouTube sooner so I didn't lose them, but I didn't know that. So I just started posting them. But I did post the first one that I'm talking about, JD Vance, and then I posted the debate with JD Vance and Walsh. So I posted my reactions to those. So if you go on my YouTube, you can watch my full lives where I'm talking about this stuff that I'm telling you now, how JD Vance was improving, how Trump could possibly win. I'm saying this a month ago. And a lot of the predictions that I made, if you guys go watch my YouTube and my lives, if you're new here, I literally made a lot of these predictions. So it is what it is. So now, when he started improving, I said, dang, this is about to get dangerous. That's when he stopped with the antics. He stopped playing, and he started showing up to interviews. Then once he got that interview on his belt, it was bombs away. Boom, interview after interview. And then I was frustrated with Kamala at the time, because I'm like, bruh, you got this rookie. Y'all remember Loving Basketball? Don't never let a rookie take your spot. So you got a rookie is literally killing you right now. He's going to interview after interview. He young. He only 40 years old. And she's grown and she's older. She could have been boom, boom. She did not. She did not do no interviews. And so she kind of started doing these pre-rehearsed, inauthentic, whatever. I don't even know what that was. It was just uncomfortable. I watched all her interviews. I watched all Vance interviews, all Trump interviews, all Walsh interviews. It was just not, the authentic side of it was lacking. And you guys can watch my lives on my YouTube and see, I've been saying, I'm not new to this. I've been saying this. So, all right, let's go back to Barron Big Ass. So I wrote that. And the reason I wrote that is because Barron got next. Barron really ran his campaign. It's Barron and another lady that y'all better, oh, I got the picture on here. Ugh. Wish I would have had the picture on here. I don't have it on here. Okay. I don't remember her name. I think her name is Susie Wiles. So it's two people who we got to look out for. Susie Wiles and Barron. So Susie Wiles is Trump's current campaign advisor. And she's bad. She's bad to the bone. She like a Paula Deen type. She one of them little ladies that you gotta watch. Let me look at this picture. This picture says 1,000 words. I saw this one last night. I showed y'all. Y'all wasn't on here. It was 2 in the morning. Where'd it go? We all make mistakes. There it go. I want to show y'all. What the hell is that? That ain't nothing but I rebuke you, Satan, in the name of Jesus. Okay, so go ahead. Look at that. Y'all see that? This is the money girl. She's from Jersey. We don't play in Jersey. My kind of girl. Love a Jersey girl. So that's her. So that's Susie Wiles. She is the kingmaker. She made Trump. She is the reason he is in power. She worked with DeSantis back in the day, but DeSantis and her did not get along. DeSantis would not listen to her, and she fell out with DeSantis, and then Trump scooped her up again for his current election, and they've been buddy ever since, and she's like a mother figure to him, and this is the reason he won. Let me tell you a little bit about Susie, because this is the one to watch. Because the reason I noticed her too is because you gotta watch the woman. You gotta watch the person in the t-shirt in the room. Donald Trump won. Donald Trump is currently the president of the United States of America. Okay, so that's who won. So Susie Wiles is called the Ice Lady. Who, me? He already was our president. Why would I be mad? Are you mad? Because you the one talking about it. So I gotta block you too. Why I gotta block all y'all Trump people? Why y'all so negative? This ain't even that kind of party. So, okay, so she's called, Susan Wiles is the Ice Lady. She's the one y'all gotta really watch out for, because she is going to be the kingmaker of whoever is next up, which I believe is going to be Barron Trump. I mean, not for the next election, obviously, but in coming years, he is up next. They had him looking good. He looked just like Trump back in the day. So that was really interesting to watch, like to see this kid develop, and then he's like kind of is the one that, in conjunction with Susie Wiles, advised his dad. He told his dad to go on the Joe Rogan podcast. He told his dad to go on Adam, I forgot that guy, Schwartz, I don't know, podcast, because these are his son's favorite podcasts. He said his son told him this is what the kids are watching in school. So that's why he went on a podcast. So Barron is in tune with the youth and society, and he was able to help his dad garner those votes. So Barron is really another one to watch. He's up next. He's going to be the next king. And you don't, like when Trump says you'll never have to worry about a president again, he's not going to live forever. He know that. He's saying you are going to be up under my tutelage in some way, shape, or form for the rest of your lives. Your lives. Maybe not our kids' lives, but definitely our lives. So, and what he means by that, he's going to be Barron. It's going to be Barron. It's going to be J.D. Vance. So you got J.D. Vance, that's 4. And then you got him for another 4, that's 8. That gives Barron enough time to get, how old is Barron now? That's 8 years. So he is 18 years old. Y'all do the math. I ain't got a math degree. So 18 plus 8. Really 18 plus 20. Let's see. So it's 24. So 18 times 24 is what? 18 plus 24 is what? 42. So Barron will be 42 years old, and he'll be ready. So if we do I guess we can't do 8 years, Trump. So let's do 42 minus 4. 38. So he'll be 38 by the time he wins. Okay. So we are gonna have JD. We gotta have Trump for these next 4 years. We're gonna have JD Vance for the 4 years after that. Then we're gonna have Barron Trump after, or JD Vance for 8 years after that, and then we'll have Barron Trump. So that's the trajectory. When he says you never have to vote again, that's what he means. He already has it aligned with how he sees the future of the country. So that's what's gonna happen. Again, I'll repeat that. It's gonna be Trump for 4, J.D. Vance for 8, and then Barron for 8. And Barron, by the time he runs, will be 38 years old. It's going to be interesting. So that's what and this is Barron Trump. You guys don't know. He looks just like his father. He showed up. He looked really handsome yesterday. He looked really,
it can remove up to 10 times.
My mom always says whenever I come in the room, she's like, oh my God, you look so fresh. You just look so fresh. So he looks fresh, like very clean, very ready to go. Fired up, ready to go. Last night, hold on, where was it? Yeah, this him last night, right? Yep. Yeah, he was ready. Y'all see that? See how tall he is over Trump? He's 7 feet tall, y'all. And Trump is already like 6 foot something. So that's Barron. So this is our future right now. So that's what Trump means. I never in a million years thought that he meant he gonna be the president forever. He can't live forever. The average age right now for celebrities is 92 years old because they drinking the baby blood. But the average American person only lives about 70, 75 years old, right? So Barron is a giant. I mean, look at how big this boy is. So he is the future. He's everything. He's going to be everything for the Trump campaign. For not just the Trump campaign. They're going to rename it in the next couple of years because I told you. I'm sorry, I shot it right. But I'm not. That's why this page is a bipartisan page. We don't do that over here. I talk shit about Kamala and Trump. So this page has always been a landing strip for you could be who you want to be over here. I'm not judging you. I'm not judging your vote because guess what? Like I said earlier, in the club, we all family. Like we all Americans. We all have to live in this country. I'm not moving. I ain't going nowhere. You ain't going nowhere. We got to go to work tomorrow. So we here. So why get so tense about it? Like we should have fun and talk about this stuff. This stuff is real. Like it's happening. And yeah, it might be a little racism here and there. Yeah, it might be a little prejudice. Yeah, it might be a little classism, economic stuff we need to work on. But every country has its flaws. I'd much rather, I've been around the world, but I'd much rather be in America. And you know it, and I know it, and they know it. America is amazing. I love my country. So, all right, next. So now let's talk about, I talked about the kingmaker. Oh yeah, I said, I feel that, and this is both Democrats and Republicans, I feel like just the government in general, I feel like they use racism to make sure that all the classes don't come together. That's what I don't like. And I just want to get to a point where we don't have to rely so much on racism. Because but it's taught what I learned is it's taught at such a young age. Like, I grew up in a black town mostly, but I grew up half Jersey, half Florida. So in Florida, I dealt with a little racism, but not, it was overt racism. And so you didn't feel no way because, like, for example, the little old lady, my dad's best friend, actually, she would call me colored girl. Hey, little colored girl, come here. And I'm from Jersey. They don't talk to you like that up here. But when you in Jersey and you in the offices and you in corporate America, they do it in terms of, like, my boss one time, he came up to me. He's like, Nico, do you like Reagan? And I didn't know who Reagan was. I'm young. So I was like, who's Reagan? I know who Reagan is, but I was like, I don't know who. And he started laughing, bust out laughing. That's the white racism in the North. Racism in the South is like, hey, little color girl, come on. It's more innocent. So to me personally, I'd rather deal with the racism in the South than the racism in the North. Because I feel like the racism in the North is covert racism. It's like, it's there, but they don't want you to know it's there. In the South, it's there, and you know it's there, and they don't mean no harm by it. It's just how they was raised. So, meaning like the little old white lady calling me color girl. She's like, I got a color son-in-law. And showed me pictures of her colored son-in-law, and just kept calling us color. And that's so racist, but she don't know it. So that's the stuff I'm talking about. Like, it's just a different energy from the South to the North. I feel like it's malicious in the North, and I don't feel like it's so malicious in the South. The racism, like, it's just more accepted in the South because the blacks down there, they just know their place because they had to deal with slavery a lot longer than the blacks did in the North, because obviously the blacks in the South didn't have the opportunity to escape to the North, where they weren't really doing that up here. So the whites in the North still was racist, but because of the economics of it all, their pocketbook, they could no longer support slavery. And that's where I tell you the original Republican Party were the anti-slavery party. They were the abolitionist party. They were the party that really supported black people to end slavery. It was the Republicans, not the Democrats. And the Republicans supported that coalition because of money. Not because they loved black people, not because they loved us, but because of money. There was a big rush between Kansas and Nebraska, and they were moving slavery out west. Moving it from, because slavery was mostly heavy in the South, Louisiana, Texas, but because there was like this big war down there, they were like, all right, we got to get out of here. It's too much craziness. So the ones that could move were moving it Midwest to a little more west. I want to say north, more west. So the Nebraska of it all. So because of that, and when they saw this like uprooting, they said, oh no, then that means the Midwest is going to get all the money. We can't have that. So that's why the Republican Party came in, and they really were like going to bat to end slavery across the entire country so that it wouldn't end up in the Midwest. Because once slavery got stuck in the Midwest, you wasn't going to get rid of it. Because the reason slavery was ending on the coast, because black people was drowning themselves. They were trying to jump in the oceans. There was just a lot going on the coast. But in that centralized part of the country, the blacks would have been stuck. Ain't nowhere to go out there. So that's why slavery ended, because of the economic impact of slavery. And they didn't want that much power to be in like Nebraska. Okay, so it makes sense, because if it was in Nebraska and they had the most power with yielding whatever crops they were yielding, right? Well, actually, yes. Because I grew up in the concrete jungle where dreams are made of. There's nothing you can't do. Now you're in Jersey, Jersey, Jersey. Yeah, I grew up in the concrete jungle for real. In Jersey. Okay, so, so it makes sense, because if you are in Kansas and Nebraska and you are making all these crops and making all this money, and now these people have to export your crops to the mainlands of New York City, of Canada, of Cali, or Texas, that's a lot more money to have to send your farmers or your I don't know if they had truck drivers, I guess horse and carriages, I don't know what they had back then, or trains to the middle of the country, right? So in order to kind of usurp that, they said, no, we're going to break this little party up. I don't know what that means. Cope and seeth. Y'all I don't understand that. The party switch is false. Democrats use it to mask who they really are. What does that mean? Any other people? Hopefully never again. I'm about to make so much money in the stock market. Good for you. Anything I missed? Does any know what time The View comes on? I don't know. I don't watch that. The View times 11 o'clock. So in a few minutes. It's used as bait for political gain. Separation is always how they win. Facts. A big old Donald Trump tank. Greatest country in the world. It's a great day to be American. Whoa, you can't say that part. I think I read that one. Parent Trump is a giant. America, whatever. If you nasty, I'm gonna block you. Who won the election? Oh, y'all got that one. Okay, yeah, I'm caught up now. Sorry, guys. I've been seeing text messages. They've been coming in. You guys are really interactive tonight, which is really interesting because I've been on this live for about months and months and months. And I haven't seen y'all. Where y'all been? So it's interesting. Good, bad, or indifferent. It still feeds my algorithm. So I appreciate the love and the hate equally. Okay, so now I think I talked about Handmaid's Tale. I talked about the Supreme Court justices. He has 2 already, and I think he's getting 2 more with this election. I talked about... okay. So remember I told y'all that after the election, what I want to do with this page is to start reading some books. I have 2 in mind. You guys can let me know which one you want to do. I was thinking last night, I woke up in the middle of the night and I wrote this down, 1984, Orson Welles. So y'all, I'm thinking that's the book because I literally had a dream about it. And that was one of the books where I was supposed to read it in high school, but I skimmed through it real quick just to pass the test. But I didn't really like I was supposed to. So I think it would be fun for me to revisit that book as a grown-up and kind of see how it correlates to today's society. And how it would impact them. That's one. If you guys don't want to do 1984, there's another one I'm thinking. It's called Making Whiteness. It's by Elizabeth Grace Hale. And the book is from, what year was this mean? 1890. It talks about the culture of segregation in the South from 1890 to 1940. We can read that one. Or we can read Orson Welles' 1984 together, because that's what I'm thinking. We'll do like book clubs every week for political, more understanding. Let's see. Orson Welles. Yeah, this book, is it? I think it's 1984, right? Oh, I never seen a picture of Orson Welles before. Because like I said, we read this in high school and we had internet, but it wasn't like it is now. Look at that. Y'all knew that's him? I think this is gonna be my book, y'all. We gonna do 1984. He kind of, if you look at him a little bit, he like a young version of the Game of Thrones. Oh, he fly. He like a young version of the Game of Thrones guy. Oh my God, he fly. I never saw a picture of him in my life except that little picture on the back of the book that's blurry. Y'all see that? Okay, so that'll be fun. So we'll do Orson Welles, and we'll do. I think it's 1984 is the name of the book. Yeah, 1984. So we'll do that book. We'll start there. I don't know if you guys, what I think I might do, I could come on here and do like audio book-ish thing. This is the book. So we're going to do that book. And we'll start there. That'll be our first book for our book club, I guess, our political book club. and we'll read 1984. I think I might come on. How do I want to do it? Weekly? The same? Y'all want me to keep the same schedule? Because we usually do Tuesdays at 2 p.m. Which is when I come on to talk about the election. But because we're not going to be talking about the election anymore, we can start talking about these political readings. And obviously, anything related to politics that come up or any policies that Trump creates over the next couple of weeks. Like, we're gonna be on it. Like, we're not going to just, like, stop talking about Trump. I don't think Trump is the kind of guy you can stop talking about anyway. He's like one of those people you it's like a, what do they call it? Watching a train wreck. He's one of them you can't look away. It's so fascinating. He really is going to be one of those, we write books, and it's going to be so many books about Trump in the history. And it makes sense to me because anyway, I'm going to talk about that. But I was reading about the triad, the personality triad. And if he fits perfectly into a certain triad. So if you read about the personalities of different people, you'll see you can decide which personality he aligns more with. And so 1984, let me ask AI a little bit about it. And then I guess we'll wrap it up there. Because I already said everything on my list. I had a little list for y'all that I was going through. Anything else I have on this list? No. Nope. We talked about Joe Rogan endorsement, economy. Did we talk about transgender? I think we talked about that. I wrote that down, just how I think that was another thing that kind of, and I think that's it. Okay. Oh, yeah. No, I talked about that. People, place. Okay. So let me ask AI, and then we're going to end this today. And I don't know when I'm going to pop back in because everything's moving so fast that I usually, like I said, Tuesdays at 2 p.m., I'm usually strict by the book. But I've been hopping on. Yesterday I hopped on 4 times. Like I came at 10 in the morning. I came at 2 p.m. Then I came at 6 p.m. And then I came back at like 2 a.m. So I was on for basically 12 full hours. So I'm going to be here a lot right now because like I said, I want to come off as like a warm hug. The big little sister, you know what I'm saying, that y'all never had, where you just want to talk to me. Like, I don't want this to be, we hate everybody, we hate America, we love America, Trump, fight. I don't want none of that. We just going to be chilling, shooting the stuff, talking about our country, the red country, the blue country, and in between. Like, because we cannot get stuck in hate. Like, we can't. We can be rational. We can hold Trump accountable. We can express our feelings, but you can't hate somebody for 4 years. I'm not doing it. I would never hold that. I have a pure hand, clean heart. You feel me? All right. So let me ask AI. Okay. Tell me a little bit about Orson Welles. AI, let me ask you a specific question. I don't know if you can answer this. But can you tell me about the book by Orson Welles, 1984, and how it may correlate to the current political climate in America?
Sure, I can help. 1984 by George Orwell, not Orson Welles, explores themes of totalitarianism, surveillance, and the manipulation of truth. The novel portrays a society where the government, led by Big Brother, exercises extreme control over every aspect of life, including thoughts, through constant surveillance and propaganda. In the context of modern America, some draw parallels to the book when discussing issues like government surveillance, misinformation, and the erosion of privacy. Concerns about fake news, mass data collection, about how truth can be manipulated and how powerful entities can control narratives to maintain power. The book serves as a cautionary tale about the loss of individual freedoms and the dangers of an overreaching government, themes that are often discussed in political conversations today.
Ooh, that's deep. What y'all think about that? So there we have it. I think it would be the right book. So if I was to do a book club for my political friends who are interested in that, how will we break that down in order for us to learn a little bit more about ourselves from the book?
That sounds like a fantastic idea. For a book club centered around 1984, you could break it down like this. 1. Introduction and context. Start with an overview of Orwell's life and the political climate when he wrote the book. Discuss his inspirations and the historical context. 2. Chapters discussion. Divide. I'm sorry, but you've hit the monthly limit for advanced voice.
I told
you
y'all.
can switch to standard now to keep...
I'll read the rest. I knew it because I was like, I'm going to get kicked off of this. I've been asking a lot of questions today. Okay, so it just says introduction and context, chapters, discussion, divide the book into sections, and discuss one section per meeting. So we'll do it like that. So we'll do... starting next week, Tuesdays at 2 p.m. we'll meet. I call it Tuesdays with Nico because my favorite book is called Tuesdays with Maurice. I suggest everybody read that book. We really should have started there maybe, but that ain't got nothing to do with politics. That just has something to do with like heart, soul, and what we are here for. So every Tuesday at 2, a student goes to meet with Mr. Maury and they discuss his life because he's on his deathbed, and he discussed where the vision of life is, how we see ourselves as human, and if there was anything he wanted changed about his life. And it's such a beautiful memoir of love and life and light. So that's why I do Tuesdays. So it's Tuesdays with Nico's because we are kind of going to do the same thing, but through the lens of politics, policy, and socialization. So we'll do that on next Tuesday. We'll start with the introduction and the context. I'll give you an overview of 1984, and then I'll talk about Orson Welles. I'll break down who he was and the man he was, and we'll relate that to Donald J. Trump and the man he is, and how the impact of 1984 can integrate into what's going on in 2024. I just think it's fitting, right? So we'll do that next week. I'll see you guys Tuesdays at 2 p.m. And in the meantime, in between time, take care of yourself. You know, I always love to say this. If you don't do anything else, make sure you maintain your morals, your values, and your principles, because you are the MVP. Take care. I'll see y'all next time. Bye, guys. Love you.